Hi guys, and welcome to part 4 of my AWS ECS tutorial series. This one feels like it's going to be a long one, but it's really not. It's actually just a lot of clicking and pointing through the AWS UI. So yeah, I'm not gonna wrap it on too much. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is open up our AWS console in any browser and go to the Amazon Elastic Container Service page and click on Create Cluster. Now, the naming convention can get a bit tedious around this, and you don't have to do it this way, but this is the way I do it. I normally suffix my names and I shorten my names to abbreviations. So this is a simple Node web app. So we're going to call it SNWA-ECS-cluster. The networking VPC you should already have on your window, and it should be this, or something very similar to this. The namespace doesn't really matter, it will automatically set it if you don't set it. Infrastructure, we're going to be using fargate, so serverless containers, and we're going to click Create Cluster. Now, while that's being made, we can actually still go ahead and do some other stuff. So we're going to go to our task definitions on the side and create a new task definition. Task definition family, we're going to give it a name with the same kind of format. So we're going to do simple node web app in abbreviation form, -ECS-task. For the container, we need to get our image URI from the previous video that we uploaded. So if you go to the ECR page on AWS and copy the URI from your simple node web app container and paste it into here. And for the name, we're just going to call it simple node web app, abbreviated obviously, and that's it. Further down, you can see that the port mappings have also been named automatically on our behalf, and we're using container port 80. And then we can click next. So this page is where we set up our server configuration. So we're going to obviously select Fargate because we're using Fargate, 1 CPU and 2 GB of memory. It doesn't really matter at this point what you do. And the task role needs to be ECS task execution role. Scroll down to the bottom of the page and click next. And then scroll down on the next page and click create. Now that task definition has been created, we can go back to our clusters and hopefully it's been made, which it has. And we can now set up our service. So if anyone's used Kubernetes before, it's a very similar sort of style. You've got your services and your tasks are essentially your pods. Or your pod definitions, and the service basically controls the tasks. So if you click on create underneath the service section, make sure the launch type is selected, and we're going to be using Fargate and the latest platform version. And if you scroll down, make sure service is selected, not task, and we're going to set the family to the tasks that were created previously. The service name is going to be similar format to all the others with SNWA-ECS-cluster-service. Replica can stay the same. Our desired tasks actually needs to be 2. I noticed in the video it's 1, but it needs to be 2. So we can do a blue-green deployment style. For the security groups, we're going to have to create a new security group. I already have one, but for the benefit of you guys, we're going to make it again from scratch. And we're going to give it the name SNWA-SG. Make sure to give it a description as well. And then below, we're going to select HTTP, and we're going to choose source anywhere. So we get IPv4 and IPv6. And then we're going to add the HTTPS one for anywhere as well. This will become apparent later when we do the SSL redirect in another video. Once we've done that, we should be good to go. So we can click on create. And as you can see in this pre-recorded video that I've done, I didn't add a description, so we're going to add that. I've also got the similar syntax across all of my different security group descriptions because I'm very OCD. Next step is to set a load balancer. So we're going to choose application load balancer, and we're going to create a new one, and we're going to give it the format SNWA-EC2-ALB because ALBs belong to EC2 section. And we're going to choose the SNWA 8080 ports. The listener is also going to be 80 on HTTP. We might come back and change this later when we do the SSL certificate redirect, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We also want to make sure that the target group is being created. And we want to call that SNWA-EC2-TG with the protocol HTTP. And then we can scroll down and click create and wait for that service to be created. This might take a while, but essentially what it will do is it will create the service and then spin up the two tasks from the task definition and then connect them to the ALB all auto-magically. And we'll be able to test this in a minute. So once that service is started up, you can go to the Tasks tab and click on one of the tasks and then click Open Address on the right hand side and we should see our application running. Now what we're going to do is we're going to run through updating a cluster with a new image. This is essentially what we're going to be doing in the final video with the GitHub Actions. So we're going to make a few little changes to the code base, doesn't matter what, and run npm run deploy. That will build our Docker image and it will try and deploy it to the ECR on AWS. And you can see here under our Simple Node web app container registry versions, we've got a new version that we've just uploaded. If you go back to the task definition section from the left hand side of the container service page, what we can do is update the task definition with some new memory. So if you click on create new revision and scroll down to where the memory is, we'll leave it as 1 CPU, but we can change the memory to 3 GB. And then keep scrolling down and click create. And then we can go back to the cluster service that we made and we can actually force the new deployment with the new revision of the task definition. This will give it the new container image and also the new server requirements of 3 GB memory. And that concludes this part of the Amazon ECS guide, tutorial, course, whatever you want to call it. Thanks for watching. Sorry it was a bit fast paced, but like I said before, you can go back and forward and pause and take your time and hopefully do this enough times and it'll all sink in. So thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next video.